Today, I'm going to try to do a quick overview demo of Magpie and the most common favorite tools. So first and foremost, Magpie is a content management platform for experience operators. So anybody in experiences, that's tours, activities, attractions, anything you may do in the experience economy. We manage your product content. So that's your name of the product, summary, description, highlights, inclusions, exclusions, know before you go, voucher information, cancellation information, languages, long list of fields. We manage all of that. We act as your single source of truth, so you can keep it all organized in one single place. You can also create different versions of that, so different languages or different versions for different resellers. And then once it's in Magpie, we can distribute it to all of your resellers. So some of those we send it directly to, such as Viator, Get Your Guide, Expedia, Amusement, Google Things to Do. And then others you share via email, and they come to Magpie and grab copies, and they integrate however they like on their side. So that's what we do first and foremost. We don't touch your reservations, and we don't handle your availability. You should also have a res tech to deal with that. So we do all the things that res techs don't. So first and foremost, you want to get your product into Magpie. So this is a product list. This is a demo account, also live account, Skyline Sightseeing in San Francisco. As you saw on the dashboard there are 32 live products and some test products down below. This score, this 100 score here, is out of 100, which is great. We recommend getting your score to at least 80 or if not 90 before you start distributing those products. And the score is based on the quality of your content. So it's based on having the correct fields filled in, and it's based on having the right length, the minimum resolution, that kind of thing for images. So we know all the different systems, and we know the minimum requirements of each. So the closer you get to 100, the more you're going to be in line immediately with all of those resellers and be sending across great content that's going to convert. So once you're inside a product, this is where you edit all the information. I'm not going to go through all of these fields, but it's everything that you've probably used to seeing there. There's a short description, long description, highlights, inclusions, exclusions. That's mostly your text fields. Lots of booking information. Know before you goes and cutoffs and cancellation policies and voucher information, all of that kind of thing. You don't need all of them, but we will tell you which ones you do need. Locations is things like start location, points of interest, Google Business Profile, settings, duration, language, time zone, all these things. And then things like commentary and minimum sizes, dress codes, height, age, weight, anything that you may have as restrictions. If you don't need them, that's great. You can leave most of them alone. We do store a basic pricing. We don't export pricing to extranets because that should come from your res tech, but you can still store pricing for all the others. So we have the same structure as most resellers these days, which is a product level. Each product has at least one option, which is just kind of the product. But if you want to add more options, you can. So you might have a with lunch or without lunch as an example. And then within those options, you have adult, child, youth, infant, senior. Name them something else if you like. Put different ages on them if you like. And then within those, you can store your rates. So you can store a retail rate, which is just your sales price. If you want to add a minimum selling rate, so people can't sell below that, you can. And if you want to add a net rate minus the commission, you can also store that in here as well. You can also store a rate sheet. So you can have a standard rate sheet, maybe for OTAs, and then maybe a different one for the concierges or however else you categorize your resellers. Gallery is images, product images. So we have a centralized gallery in Magpie. So you can upload all of your images to one place, and then you can add those to products as you need them. Or within a product, you can just upload an image directly to it. So you can reuse these images across multiple products if you like. There's no cautions on these, but we'll display a caution on these images if they're not large enough. I think 1280 is our minimum recommended size for images to be accepted by all resellers. FAQs is kind of a new one. This is becoming really important for chatbots, especially AI chatbots, they need this detailed information, the kind of thing you don't store in your description because it's too much. You can now store in this FAQ list. We can also generate a list of FAQs here using AI tools for you to store in here as well. These are really good to give to chatbots, and chatbots use these for the answers to all of those questions which people are going to have. So that's the basic information for a product. Once they're in there, and I'll go through this in a minute, you can share those products with resellers. Like I say, some are direct and some are indirect, and there's a few hundred resellers in here that you can share with. So first thing you do when you come to Magpie usually is you want to import your products, and most people do import products into Magpie. And most people do that through either an import from a ResTech or an import from a OTA, and it's completely up to you. The most common is probably to import from Viator. So you click this button here. This one's already set up, and this blue button on the top left is a Viator connection. You might have multiple Viator connections. Some people have many. And you'll click on that. If it's not set up already, it's going to say add your Viator credentials, add your username, password. We then connect to Viator. We download a product list, and then you can choose to import some or all of your products from Viator. We don't change anything on Viator. We're just downloading the information, so you've got a base to start from. Like I say, you can do that with other systems as well. This is just the most common. Now that's done for Viator, if you want to export information back, we know which product is which. So we can send updates to Viator for this product. So now you've got your products into Magpie. Some people also, depending on the level of account, you can import from a file like a CSV. We also have API imports and other things. You can ask us about that. So now your products are inside Magpie. You're going to probably start with a score of 50 to 60 if you import your products. So your next job is to enrich or improve those products. A couple of hacks here. One is we recommend getting, and a lot of people have very similar products. So you might have a 1-day hop on a off, which is very similar to a 2-day hop on a off. If they're not already in there and I've only got one of them, best thing to do is get one of them close to perfect. So this 1 day over here, and I go over here and I hit duplicate, and it's going to duplicate that product exactly. And then I go into that product I've just created or cloned, and I just change the name to 2-day hop on off. And then I just go in and I change the parts that are important. And that's quite common. People have very similar products and they're 80 or 90% the same. Much easier to get one perfect and then to copy it across like that. Other thing which is really useful is by field. So a lot of these fields are going to be the same across products. So again, I'm in my hop on, hop off, 1 day. Great example of this is a cancellation policy, right? So I have the same cancellation policy across all of my products. So I write a great cancellation policy here, get it perfect. Then I just click on copy to other products. I can select all, or I can just select some, and then I can hit update, and that will copy across to all of those products in one click, which is a huge time saver. I can do that for all fields, or almost all the fields. Some don't make any sense, like product name. That's just a couple of tips to get your products in a perfect position. So back to this product score. So we have this maximum score of 100. These top ones are all 100, which is great. But I've got some down here, most of which are test. Maybe they're archive products. This hop on, hop off right here has got a score of 47. So I'm going to click onto that. I can see immediately there's things missing. Got cautions over here, tell me what to do. But I can also just go to a summary of these fields and quickly work out the best way to improve this product. So optimization, and I can go through line by line and make improvements. Again, there's highlights missing, the description's not long enough. Now for some fields, I can just use an AI tool. So description summary, we don't have one right now. I can just generate a quick description summary in one click. That will take a few seconds. It's made some alternatives there. I like this third one. Let's go in and save that to my description summary. There you go. My quality score went up to 51. So the other thing I want to do now is go to my full AI generation. So this I've demoed quite a few times. using ChatGPT or GPT-4. So now we've got this new description summary in there, which is great. But my main description is nonsense. I've got no highlights. So easiest thing to do without even touching anything. Actually, before that, what I might want to do is just generate some keywords, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm just going to regenerate the whole product. So we're going from start to finish, all of those text fields, and we're going to create a new description, highlights, etc. It's going to take a few minutes. We're going to use the information that's there. You do need some information that's there. We don't want it just to make up places that you go as part of your product. But it's going to do a great job of rewriting what's there and coming up with a really good alternative. And there you go. It came up with a worse description summary, I'd say, but a much better description. And it's come up with some pretty good highlights. So I actually like that. What I could do now if I want is go in and change the tone. I can go to my description directly and change the tone on. I can add some keywords in there. I can do lots of different things within this, but I'm going to save this. I like that version. I'm still at 51. So I'd have to go in and I'm at 58 now. So I'll have to go in and see what else is missing. My description looks like it's a little bit too long. That's 64 characters too long. So I'd trim that or regenerate it. Some of my highlights are too long. Have a look at those. You can do each of these fields one by one, or you can do the whole product. And these are generally well written, and you can change your tone, put your voice in there, whatever you want to do. A couple of little things here. You can go into writing suggestions, and I can now get ideas from AI on how to write that description better. This might take a few seconds. I'm probably not going to wait for it, but it's going to go through and it's going to say you could be more salesy. You should mention more points of interest, that kind of thing. It'll give you kind of a rough score of writing suggestions. Same thing for conflicts. I might come back to these, but it's going to look at my full description. It's going to say, listen, over here, you've written that the tour's 2 hours, but then in the description, it says it's 2.5 hours. Which is which? This may cause a problem. I'll come back to this in a second. They're both generating. So that's just a really good way to improve your products and get them up to that 80. But you do need to work on some of these like images one by one. So now you've got your products in here. I'll come back to that at the end if I remember and if I have time. That's using the GPT-4 API. So that takes usually between 20 to 60 seconds to generate some of those. So you can just come back to them. So now my products are perfect. They're in the state of 100. I like them. They're well written for conversion. I'm going to go to distribution. So for these top 5 here, we have direct integration. So we're sending your products only when you choose to push them, but we send them to Viator, Get Your Guide, Musement, and Expedia if you have contracts with them. And then we upload your products to Google Things to Do daily. So whenever you make changes to Google, we send them actually more than once a day to Google. So if I've got my products on one of these extranets, I'll go into my product again and show you. As long as they're mapped, and mapping means at one time when you first connect those extranets, you have to tell us which product is which, because you've all named your products different things on different resellers, and we don't know which is which. And believe me, we've seen enough of these. You've got a 1-day hop on a puff with lunch and a 24-hour hop on a puff and all kinds of versions of the same thing. We don't know which is the same product. So you've got to map it once and tell us which is which. This product, 1-day hop on a puff, is only on Musement. So maybe I've just changed this name. And I'm going to export to Musement here. It's going to pop up. This is the name on Musement. I'm going to say, yep, that's fine. Update. That's now going to go into Musement and update that product on Musement. So I can do those with those 5 extranets. If I don't have a direct connection with them, I go into my product list here and I just go to share products. And now I can come in here and I can type in an email. So I just met somebody from Head Out. This is just a test email I've added. I met somebody from Head Out last week, and we talked about these 4 products, these 5 products. And I want to share those products. See what they look like. This looks good. I'm going to send this now, and the person at Head Out's going to get this email. They're going to be able to click into this product, and they're going to have this exact view. So they're going to see the full product with the images, with all the information. They can click in and grab the highlights, inclusions, exclusions, all of that stuff as part of your product. The other thing they can do here, they can download information. They can download images, text, whatever they want. They can also view the history. So Headout can see what's changed because they already had this product loaded and they just want the changes that you've made recently. Or probably even more useful than that, they want to go in here and they know that they last updated this in their system last summer, and they just want to see what's changed since last June. So now they can look at this without having to read your long paragraphs and paragraphs of email to see what's changed. They can see exactly what's changed. So on this one, you just changed a word. The addresses, you've just added new addresses. So they can go in and see exactly what's different versus when they touched it last. Some of these, it's got a space in it. Obviously, they can ignore that, but they can choose when to do that. So that's sharing with any reseller that you like. Now, once you share with those resellers, you'll have a list of distribution here. If I go back to my resellers, we call this Reseller Hub. Now, Headout, I can manage all my products on Headout. I'm clicking on here. So I've got my products that I'm selling on Headout. I've got this one selling. This one is pending. This one I just shared. This one I haven't done anything with. Maybe these are test products. I can click in here to view the product on Headout, see what it actually looks like on their system. There it is right there. Just a quick way to manage that. And I can move them along. So if I want to edit this, I can go in here and I can edit the listing and I can say this has gone from selling to now onboarding or something else. I can add some notes per product if I'm trying to make some changes. The other thing I can do in here with Headout is I've got some contacts. So this is a dummy contact. As you can see, this is me. So I can go in here to my contact list and Headout. I can go to actions and I can add notifications. I can then add all of my products to that. I can go update. And now all of the products in Magpie, whenever I change them, Headout will get a daily summary of changes to those products. So they'll get an email just to say, this operator, Skyline Sightseeing, has made the following changes to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products, whatever, and these are the fields that have changed. So it's a really fast way to get all your updates out to all of those resellers without having to sit and email them once you choose. You can take them off notification, you can add them, you can add multiple people, whatever you want to your notifications. So that's working with resellers, OTAs, concierges, anyone like that. Very easy to work with once they're all set up. The last one I'll just go through is Google Things to Do. So let me just come into my products again. I can get in through here. I can just click this little suitcase, or I can go into the actual product and click on the tab. And Google Things to Do is a 4-step setup. First thing, this looks a bit complicated. This product is the 1-day hop on hop off. Google Things to Do has gone back to 2002 SEO. If you put things like San Francisco tour in there, you'll get better placement. So we've allowed you to change your name, which you should, depending on what you've called it, for Google Things to Do. So now we don't send 1-day hop on hop off to Google. We send San Francisco tour - 1-day hop on hop off. That will get us, and we put the word bus tour in there as well. Gets us much better placement on the program. The Google Things to Do listing is going to go to your website. Google's not taking any commission for that. So this is where you enter your website. So this is the URL here. And then the part at the end is tracking, if you like. You can add your Google Analytics tracking so you know where the link came from. Your option is here. You're only sending the adult price. That's adult inclusive of taxes, fees, final price to adults. Next, you'll add your locations. This one wasn't added for whatever reason, so you'll add your Google business profile here. So Skyline Sightseeing, I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to save that. That's now going to attach these products to your Google business profile. Add as many, well, not as many. You can add up to 100 points of interest. We recommend no more than 10 to 15. They see that as spam if you're adding too many, but you'll get found under these POIs for most of them. You add if it's included or not, which is important. Step 3, your description will already be in here. If you wrote it earlier, you'll have the highlights in there, inclusions, everything should be there, nicely written, which is part of the reason I said get it perfect in the first place. If you have reviews on your product pages, then you can check this box and add reviews here. If you don't have reviews on your product pages, you should. You should anyway, but this will get you tons more views on the Google Things to Do program. But you do have to show it. You have to show the actual reviews, the score, and the average score on your product pages. So we have that. Last step, choose one of these images, choose one of these drop downs. Drop down doesn't show normally on a demo, but there's about 20 categories here. Choose as many as you like, a couple of images, and you're done. Save this and finish, and it's going to show you what this product will look like on Google. And I'm not going to go through that today. It shows up on various surfaces. It's all over Google Search, Google Maps. You need to have your products in those places today. So that's Google Things to Do, getting your products out there. A couple of other things we do. One is manage reviews. Because we are already connected with your extranets often, you can import your reviews from those extranets. So these are the sources we import from. So Expedia, Viator, TripAdvisor, which is the same connection as Viator. Those two come together, but they're two separate sources for reviews, Get Your Guide, and Google. So you can import your reviews. You get this now long list of reviews. Now, some of these, if they're from Google or Viator, you can respond within Magpie. So if you've set this up, you can also regenerate, or you can generate a suggestion for a response to this review. This isn't a very good review. Super good tour isn't very useful, but I can now create suggestions for that. And it's going to create me 3 suggestions based on my previous examples that I've given it. So I can kind of create my tone, create the way I like to respond to these. I can create a tone for good reviews, a tone for bad reviews, and it will give me some suggestions. I like this one. I'm going to click that. I'm going to edit it if I like, add some more words to it, and I'm going to hit send. I'm not going to do that, but you can do that. You have to check those if you're using this tool. Just make sure it's well written. But it's a really fast way to respond to every tour, which you know you should. Another couple of tools on here, Widget API. So you can grab your reviews via API, feed them into whatever system you have, or download them to CSV so you can look at them and sort them, whatever you need to do with them. You can also create a widget here. So we do allow you to choose your minimum score. Some people would frown at that, but now I can create a code, and that's my code on the right, and this is the preview of the widget. You can obviously change that with your design, but this is the widget displaying 3 or more, and it's got all these reviews and review score in it. Lots more features to reviews. I can do things like review analysis, and yeah, lots of other features in there that we're building. We're now tying reviews to products, so you can use AI to write your products from previous positive reviews, which are actually a really good way to create product descriptions, that kind of thing, and to find things that are missing, find things that people are saying about your products that you might not think about, that you should be putting in your product descriptions. So we got lots more than that. I kept it fairly short. We'd love to hear from you. If you need help with this, if you want to reach out for a demo, we'll put links in here. See us at one of the many trade shows. Find us on LinkedIn. Send us an email, anything you like. We'll put all the information at the end. Thank you for listening, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.